I don't agree with him about calling Zelensky a dictator, and I don't agree that it was Ukraine that started the war. You do, because you're Putin's little lickspittle.
You've got a lot of Ukrainian blood on your hands. You have lied about this war from the beginning.
Actually, Vladimir...
You have lied about the origin of this war, about the duration of this war, about the course of this war.
Nothing fills me with dread. Things going wrong, people letting you down, rules changing, things like that. Things that, because you want to control things. But the only thing that fills me with dread is taken out of context, people lying, people purposely, like, I do fun things, you know. I'll do like frivolous radio shows. Now the reason I like doing them is because they haven't really got an angle. You can talk, you do the thing, you plug the. What's scary sometimes is if it's one of those posh, snidey papers, because the journalist can't just say I had a lovely interview and he talks a lot of sense. Anyway, watch his show. They can't, because that's not their job. Their job is to have an angle, sort of, because they're part of the creative world as well. So it's sort of about them, and that scares me because I don't know what they're going to say. I can't change. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like it's their opinion, so I can be honest and try and be funny, but they might not just like you. And if they don't like you, their job is to sort of infuse that into the interview. So that I always think, oh, you know, only because it takes the onus of why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to be in the paper. I'm doing it to tell people that my show's on. So if they suddenly get on something and go off on one, and the headline is about, I remember I did a junket, like an hour's junket about a show, and then one of the journalists said, "Oh, you've lost a bit of weight." I went, "Yeah, I lost about 20 pounds, right?" That was it. After like 50, that was the headline. Ricky Gervais loses weight. Well, mention the fucking show. I haven't. So you always wonder what they're gonna, you know. You can't say, "Listen, I'm here to plug a show." Just write about the fucking show, because they need a fucking angle. So that's the only thing that sort of fills me with dread, really. And only written, because I know on a TV show it's harder to get technical content, or a radio show. They don't have to. I told you that one that I did once, and the journalist it was a phone interview, and she pretended she was there. She said she would describe my office because there had been a photographer there, and describe my body language. And I want to go, you weren't even there. I mean, that's just lying, isn't it? That's just lying. So that, I think. But, you know, who cares? And it was worse in the early days because you think it could ruin your career. Now you realise it can't, because more people are watching this than read papers. So, you know, I've got a platform, and it's all good.
It's really come to something when, having spent a lifetime myself fighting against NATO and American wars, it's the Americans that are trying to stop the war, and Piers Morgan, Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer, who are trying to keep it going.
I don't want to keep it going.
You've got a lot of Ukrainian,
I don't want to keep it going.
You've got a lot of Ukrainian blood on your hands. You have lied about this war from the beginning.
Actually, Vladimir...
You have lied about the origin of this war, about the duration of this war, about the course of this war, and now, having caused you and your war party the death of 1 million Ukrainians while claiming to love Ukrainians, you're now calling for British lives to be lost.
What a load of absolute bullshit.
That constitutes close to a war crime. You're going to regret it when very soon Zelensky is sitting in a beachfront villa somewhere, counting his ill-gotten gains, and all the secrets of the rampant corruption between the Democrats and the Zelensky regime begin to tumble out of the cupboard. This war did not begin 3 years ago. You very well know that it began in 2014. You very well know that it began with a coup against the elected president of Ukraine, backed by Victoria Nuland and the administration at that time, and supported by you. You very well know that the criminalization of the Russian language, which followed hard on the heels of that coup, was the proximate reason for an uprising in the east of the country amongst Russian-speaking, ethnically Russian people. You very well know that Zelensky and his predecessor rained down shot and shell on the people of East Ukraine for 8 years before Putin intervened in 2022, and that 14,000 people, most of them women and children, were killed in that onslaught. You very well know that Zelensky was preparing for a final onslaught, a final solution. And while I'm on that subject, you're always telling us how much you love the Jews. You're supporting a regime which puts up statues to Nazi collaborators, to generals of the Galician division of the SS. You are supporting
Zelensky is Jewish, you know that, right? You know Zelensky's Jewish, right? Do you?
But that's like saying there's no racism in America because Obama.
So So you're calling the Jewish leader of Ukraine a Nazi? Is that your position?
That's like saying there's no racism in America because Obama was briefly the president of the country. The entire western part of Ukraine played a decisive role in the mass murder of Jews and Poles and others in the Second World War. And now they are heroizing the heroes of the SS. Why doesn't Donald Trump agree with you?
Because he's wrong.
Well, you know, you have been up his ass all of these 2 decades.
Really?
You've kissed his feet.
Really?
You've licked his boots. You've fawned upon him.
Really?
You have been his super fan. And now, on this fundamental question of our age, he's entirely wrong. Piers, everybody watching knows you are Trump's biggest ass.
I like him.
Everybody watching
I like
knows
Donald
that.
Trump.
I know you like him.
I like
don't
him.
like him.
And on
you
many
like
things,
him.
on many things,
on this,
I like him. And on many things,
fundamental question.
Let me finish.
The biggest question in politics in the world today, he's got it completely wrong.
No, it's little lickspittle.
Ukraine was the most corrupt country.
What, more corrupt than Russia? More corrupt than Russia?
It was designated by the Economist,
What about Putin?
by the FT,
What about Putin?
by everyone who knows about these things. I'll tell you what, your mate, Donald Trump, is going to open every book, every drawer, every filing cabinet, and you're going to be embarrassed.